Hi everyone, it's great to have you here for the Microsoft 365 Community Conference sponsor webinar series. I'm Ella Fernandez, Head of Connections at BTechly. Joining us today is our sponsor at Kristen. Today's session focuses on the engineering a culture of collaboration. So before we begin, I just wanted to share a few quick reminders. To join the live Q&A, you'll need to be registered for the webinar. If you haven't registered yet, simply scan the QR code on your screen or visit btechly.com, select today's session, and enter your business email. Once you registered, our team will add you to the calendar invite, which include a link to join the Q&A chat at the end of the session. Please note that the Q&A is not live streamed. If you haven't secured your pass for the Microsoft 365 Community Conference happening April 21st to 23rd in Orlando, now's a great time. Simply scan the QR code on your screen or visit nextgen365events.com and use the discount code S150 to receive $150 off on your registration. If you've already registered or plan to register, you could be one of the winners to receive free Epic Universe Park passes for Sunday, April 19th. You have just 5 days to enter the contest. So for full details, eligibility, and updates, visit nextgen365events.com and head to the news tab. And of course, please like, subscribe, and follow both BTechly and the Microsoft 365 Community Conference. With that, let's get started and dive into today's session.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Kara Shannon. I am the Senior Product Marketing Manager at Crestron for our collaboration products. So those are our intelligent video and our solutions that are going to provide the compute for Microsoft Teams. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to be talking about engineering a culture of collaboration. This is something that we take to heart at Crestron. Engineering is a big part of our organization. As I mentioned earlier, so is collaboration. So let's go ahead and kick off our webinar today. If you have any questions, you can throw those in the comments. As Ella mentioned at the beginning, we will have a Q&A session towards the end of this webinar. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the fact that the bar has risen for hybrid work. It's no longer about, are people returning back to the office? It's now a fast, fluid, AI-infused world where people that are using the spaces in the offices or workplaces are looking for a couple of key things. So the first thing that we want to talk about here is natural collaboration. They want to be able to use those spaces and not have to worry about the technology. They want to communicate with each other and have that same feel, whether people are going to be in the room with them or attending and working remotely. The next thing we want to talk about is the fact that people are now looking for effortless experiences. They want to have it be intuitive. Everything should just work. One of the terms that we hear a lot at Crestron is that Monday morning AI, where no matter what happened the previous week, as soon as you walk in Monday morning, you need everything in the space to work for you. And then the other key point here is exceptional spaces. So these are going to be spaces in the workplace that you want to come into. So it's not just a meeting space. They're going to actually bring you into that workspace and want to engage and use that room or that space for your meeting. So it's not just about making sure that there's a way to communicate between those in-person spaces and the people who may be remote. It's now they have that demand for it being natural communication, effortless experiences, and that those spaces are exceptional and they're really drawing people in to utilize those spaces. So one of the things that we still notice is that many of these rooms are still creating a friction that disrupts collaboration. So while these may be things that people are wanting and asking for, the reality is that many of these spaces are not enabling that natural, effortless communication. So what happens when you have rooms that are not built for collaboration? So you're going to run into situations like the meetings don't always start smoothly. So this could be people spending lots of time trying to troubleshoot instead of collaborating and working in the room. And every delay that you have is going to chip away at the confidence that the people that are using the room have in that particular space. And if this continues to happen, it's going to create a perception that the rooms don't work. When you have rooms that are not built for collaboration, you're going to notice that some of the remote participants are going to be disengaged. They won't be able to see or follow the conversation. This could be video framing that's not great. That bowling room view that everybody talks about, where you're just looking at a bunch of people and they look teeny tiny like ants. This can drive hybrid inequality, particularly if they can't see or hear what's happening in the room. Additionally, you'll have situations where AI features, I know Microsoft has a lot of great AI tools these days, but if you don't have the technology in the room, then you may not get a great transcription or recap. If you have low quality audio, that can result in those inaccurate transcriptions. All of those really cool features like speaker attribution, those may not be possible if you're not getting great inputs into the AI to start with. Cameras that aren't able to focus on the different speakers or anything like that, you may not get those features that you're looking for. When all this comes together, you have unpredictable rooms that are going to hurt your culture. So you're not building a culture of collaboration, you're eroding the trust. Employees may avoid certain rooms or bypass in-person meetings, feeling like, hey, it might be easier to join, and not in the meeting space, but at home and not come into those spaces. When you're looking at your organization, collaboration is actually a cultural advantage. When you're having natural, consistent collaboration, you're going to find that teams are going to move faster, people are going to feel more connected, and this is going to be something that really shapes how a company or an organization collaborates every day. So when you're looking at building your organization's culture, collaboration is going to be something that is a key advantage in making that culture something that's positive. So just like culture is built, spaces are going to be built as well. So this isn't something that happens by accident. It's actually something that needs to be engineered. So it's going to require intentional design, which means that every single one of the design choices, which camera you're using, what your audio solution is, what are your control touch points, all of those are going to directly affect how people participate and whether that experience in that space or attending that meeting remotely, how that feels, whether that feels effortless, if it feels natural, intuitive, and really building that feeling of collaboration. without this being intentional, rooms tend to evolve haphazardly. It can create those unpredictable, uneven experiences that we talked about earlier, where people aren't sure about how to join, how to utilize the technology in the room, and that can really be a blocker to collaboration. Additionally, you want to make sure that you have reliable technology. That element of reliability is going to build trust. So when the technology just works every time, people stop thinking about it, and they're just going to start engaging and collaborating with each other. Platform features like those AI transcriptions, recaps, translations, they all depend on consistent, clean audio and video. And so it's important that you're able to have that reliable technology to make those things a possibility. It's not just about performance, it's about predictability. People need to be able to know what will happen when they walk into a space. And that gets into that consistent user experience across spaces. You'll hear me mention this a lot because it's really important that employees or members of an organization are going to move between many rooms across those organizations, and they don't want to have to relearn how to have a meeting each time they enter one of those spaces. When every room looks, it feels, it behaves similarly, it's going to reduce that friction, anxiety, and ultimately also for your IT team, is going to reduce some of those support calls as well. And that consistent user experience is going to become part of that organization's culture. So how do you do this? How do you build a meeting room that's going to support that culture of collaboration? So we're going to get into a couple of key points and walk through what at Crestron we think are those key elements that you need to be able to bring together to build collaboration in your organization. So we believe that your meeting rooms are going to start with a foundation. So I told you guys, you're going to hear this a lot from me, that consistent experience. So you need to, whether you're joining a huddle room or a boardroom, it should feel the same and have that familiar workflow and predictability that allows people to focus on the content of the meeting and that in-person human feeling, not that technology. You need to be able to have all of your devices work together. So when you're looking at a meeting room, you have your audio, you have your displays, you have your control surface, all of those different pieces. They need to provide that unified experience. You want to make sure that everything just works, that the audio, the video, the control, the compute, they're all going to operate seamlessly together. You want to make sure that when you are scaling across an organization, that the rollouts stay simple. So that you have a standardized way to deploy these, that it's simple, that it's easy, that it's quick, and you don't have to relearn how to bring this to every room each time you're doing a different space. And then in today's world, it's important that the AI is going to work reliably. So good AV, so the audio, the video, all of that are going to be a key part of making sure that you have these better results. Edge devices that deliver high quality inputs is going to enable platforms like Teams to perform at their best. So at Crestron, we just introduced a new product called the Collab Compute. So this is something that serves as that foundation for modern meeting rooms. So this is going to bring together all of those different pieces that are in your room. So you'll bring your cameras into this, you'll bring your audio into this, the displays, it'll power your control touchscreen, all of those different pieces coming together in this foundation. So this is going to be built for Microsoft Teams, which means that It'll run the Microsoft Teams Rooms software on here to provide that consistent experience across your different spaces. It has that professional inputs to be able to bring those devices and those different peripherals that you'll need in your space. So as I mentioned before, this is where you're going to bring in your monitors, you're going to bring in your different audio, so your speakers, your microphone devices, as well as your cameras to be able to capture everything that's happening in the space. We have 4 USB inputs in the back of here that allows you to also do things like multi-camera and really create those experiences that are going to create those exceptional spaces that we talked about earlier. Additionally, this is engineered to be AI ready. That way you're going to be able to take advantage and have that power to run all of those different AI platform, those AI features from your platform, Microsoft Teams, that will allow you to be able to have those transcriptions, recaps, all of those different features, as well as some of those intelligent video things as well. So these are built on the Intel Core Ultra platform. That way you're able to get NPU and all of those great things that are required to make sure that your spaces are going to be able to take advantage of those AI features. Additionally, this is really geared for streamlined deployment. So as we were talking about before, one of the things that is key for a foundation is that you need to be able to have that streamlined deployment. So we've put a lot of different features in here, including there's a great bracket for this that allows you to place it behind a monitor, under a table, all of those different spaces, and really be able to deploy this quickly. It's a great toolless bracket. You'll be able to just place the compute in there, and then it has some cable management as well, just to make it really easy and simple, as well as this ties into our XIO cloud, so you have that management aspect as well. So once you have your foundation for your meeting room space, you want to be able to build on that and make sure that you're having those other pieces that are going to enable a collaboration in your room. So that's going to be things like your meeting control. As we mentioned before, one of the blockers that we see a lot in some of these spaces is going to be getting the meeting started and being able to have that be an effortless, intuitive experience. Additionally, intelligent video. So we want to make sure that the video of the room is being captured without the people in the room having to worry about it. So they don't need to press any buttons or do anything like that. It's going to intuitively and naturally be able to follow the conversation and provide that to the people who are joining remotely so that they feel engaged and are part of that conversation. Additionally, bringing in that intelligent audio. So we're going to go a little deeper on each one of these and walk you through what that requires. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is meeting control. This is what's going to keep people focused on the meeting, not the technology. So when you have a simple, familiar interface across all of your different spaces to run the room and the meeting effortlessly, that's going to help grow that culture of collaboration. So what we're looking at here is going to be, not only something that's going to run the meeting, but also be able to provide any of the other things that you might need in the room, from the lights, the shades, all of that with that one familiar interface. So you'll have that consistent Microsoft Teams UI that you're used to, as well as to be able to easily grab into those other things like shades and lighting and anything else you might need in the room. So we just introduced our latest version of our 80 series touchscreens. So what you're looking at here is control at your fingertips, essentially. We've got a great animation here that's showing, what it looks like when somebody is utilizing this control surface. You have that familiar Microsoft Teams user AI, UI, sorry. And then you can very easily move into some of those room controls as well. So as I mentioned, the lights and the shades and anything like that. Again, that native platform. So you have users that are going to be using something that they already know. And this is going to reduce the onboarding time for when they enter into a new space, and it lowers those support tickets as well. Again, that integrated custom control, so you can give them access to adjust the audio, switch cameras, anything that they might be able might want to do in the room as well. They can do that on the same interface. This is simple to deploy. You're going to have tabletop wall mount flexibility. It's going to support a diverse amount of different room types. Additionally, this is going to be something that's secure, built on MDEP, enterprise grade security built in. And this is really designed to scale across all of your different room spaces. So next up, we have intelligent video. So one of the things that's very important when you're collaborating, particularly in a hybrid environment, is being able to see what's happening in the room. And when you have intelligent video, this is going to keep the in-person and remote participants focused on what's happening in the meeting. That AI-driven framing and switching that's able to follow the conversation and power some of those platform AI features are really crucial to people feeling like they're able to collaborate in a positive way in their spaces. So we're going to talk a little bit about one of Crestron's intelligent video solutions, the new i12D camera. So this is going to be intelligent video for your everyday meeting rooms. This solution has 3 4K cameras built into it. You're able to see those 2 PTZ heads up on the top, as well as there's an additional camera there in the base. These cameras are going to work together using built-in visual AI for speaker tracking, as well as composition. So what this will allow your remote participants to be able to see in the room is each time someone speaks, you're able to see a nice close-up. These are optical zoom cameras. They've got a 12x zoom. So even the person who's seated all the way at the back of the table, the remote participants, whenever that person talks, is going to be able to see that person clearly and really be able to follow the conversation. The composition that's going to be built in here is not only will you be able to see a picture-in-picture, so you'll be able to see the full view of the room, plus that active speaker. There's also a conversation mode. So if 2 people are going back and forth and having a conversation with each other, you're able to see them both in a side-by-side view. And that really is going to help with the engagement in your meeting, because people are able to really get that context of what's happening in the space. This solution is truly plug and play. So you just bring it in via USB, which makes it really easy to deploy. It has all of these cameras built into it, which gives you that multi-camera experience, but it's that single USB. And you can also expand on this. So if you did want to bring more cameras in as well over the network, this can serve as a camera that switches and provides that switched output just with that USB connection. So this would be on on the network as well as the other camera. So you'd be able to have the speaker tracking up at the front, and if you had a presenter who came up and started to present, a presenter tracking camera that might be mounted in the back of the room, it would be able to intelligently switch to that camera whenever somebody entered a presentation zone. So it really allows you to have the technology follow what's happening in the space without anybody in the room having to, switch to the different cameras or, move the cameras around based off of who's talking in the space. Another key building block to these spaces is going to be intelligent audio. It's really important that everyone that's part of the meeting can hear each other. And additionally, in today's AI-based world, it's important that the audio is captured in a way that the AI features are able to get that accuracy that they need to be able to provide things like those recaps, any of the transcriptions, anything like that. So you're able to take what happened in the meeting and be able to bring that to clear action items or things like that, and really take advantage of the features that are built into the meeting platform. So what Crestron has just recently introduced are our NAX Intelligent Audio solution. So this is a platform that allows you to scale across different room types. So you're able to bring in, you can see our mic pods here. We can also integrate with speakers and third-party microphones like the Sennheiser ceiling microphones to be able to create a solution that can do that huddle space with one mic pod on the table, all the way up to that large boardroom that might have ceiling speakers and ceiling microphones. So this is something that is simple to deploy. As I mentioned before, this is a key tenet that we're looking at here at Crestron, is making sure that it is easy to get your room running quickly. So it's got a network-based infrastructure, which is going to reduce some of those cabling challenges and things like that, and really lean into that standardized approach. So this is going to provide, clear, even audio. So making sure that the remote participants are able to hear what's happening in the room, as well as the people in the room are able to hear the remote participants as well. Again, making sure that the audio that you have is going to be accurate for those AI features, so transcriptions, recaps, things like that. And really scaling to any space. So as I mentioned, you can mix and match the pods, bring in those third-party ceiling microphones like the microphones from Sennheiser, speakers. It really is going to allow you to scale from those smaller spaces to those large boardrooms or trading rooms, all using the same platform. That way you have that efficiency, that one ecosystem for all of your different room types. And again, when you have that unified ecosystem, it's going to create that predictable experience in the room. So collaboration is going to be something that becomes cultural only when it scales. So we've talked about, what are the building blocks in your room? You have your foundation, you're bringing in those different peripherals, but you really need to be able to have something that when you walk in one room, whether it's a room like you're seeing right now where you've got like a training room, or you've got a space that might be, a standard boardroom, whenever anybody walks in there, it needs to work. So it only becomes that culture when you can scale it across all of your different spaces. So let's talk about what's required to have this scale for you. So it, again, needs to feel consistent from your huddle spaces all the way to those high impact spaces. So that leads into that simple, repeatable deployment. You need to make sure that when you're setting these up, that they feel like rinse and repeat across all of your different spaces. So you're not having something that needs to be customized or created new. You're following the same recipe, and that it's simple and it isn't time consuming. So this is something that as we develop our products, whether that's something for one of your everyday meeting rooms all the way up to our high impact spaces, this is a tenet that we feel is really important. Even in our solutions like Automate VX, which is for those really high-end spaces, we introduced features like auto measure, which allows the deployment to be much easier and simple. There's actually these things that are called auto measure cubes. They get placed on the microphones. You press a button on the laptop, and that's going to run the auto measure in the Intelligent Video Room Designer. And that way your rooms are going to go, live in minutes. It doesn't require the measurement in the space. Really being able to have something that's simple and repeatable across your spaces is something that is really important for creating that culture of collaboration that's going to scale across your organization. These also need to be easy to manage. Once you scale past several rooms, management becomes something that's really key. You need to make sure that you've got visibility for provisioning, monitoring, updates, analytics, all of that together. So that's when you're looking at something like our XIO cloud solutions and things like that. All of our solutions, when they're working together, are going to be able to provide a way that it's easy to manage across multiple rooms that you might have deployed these solutions in. The other thing that's important is making sure that the room is ready for tomorrow's workflows. So it's not just what's required for this room to be operational. Now you need to be able to make sure that it's easy to push out updates, and that the technology is going to be ready for whatever is coming next. I know Microsoft is constantly innovating and adding new features and things like that. We want to be able to make sure that the technology is going to be ready and easily adapt to those different features and make sure that you're able to utilize them. So leaning into this, I just want to reiterate what we've talked about so far. So kind of looking at what's required to engineer collaboration in these spaces. So those are going to be those key elements. So that foundation, you need to have that core that's going to bring everything together. So bringing together your displays, being able to bring in, where you plug in your content, your intelligent video peripherals, as well as your intelligent audio, your meeting control, having everything brought together. That's where everything starts. That foundation is really key to creating all of those things that are required for creating that culture of collaboration. Having a really strong foundation for the room that can be deployed across all different room sizes, shapes, different workflows in those rooms. Having that right IO for those spaces is really a great place to start. And from there, you have those building blocks. So adding on those different peripherals for the room, while every room might not have the same need, it is always going to require, an intelligent video solution and intelligent audio, as well as a way to interact with the space. So that's where you get into the meeting controls, and making sure that not only you have that consistent Microsoft Teams user interface, but as well as being able to very easily and simply control the other pieces in the room as well, in the same user interface. Additionally, we talked about the room needing to be able to scale. So again, this needs to provide a consistent experience, whether you are in that huddle room, whether you're in a boardroom, or you're in a high impact space like a training room, or even an executive briefing space. It needs to be able to scale across those. So those are the key elements here. And then once that technology is in place, it tends to disappear because the room is going to work the way that it needs to work. And that's when that culture of collaboration is really going to emerge into the space. So the best experiences are going to feel effortless. So this is going to be something that's going to allow you to interact and have that human element in the space. So you can see in our picture here, it's really providing that natural feeling where people are just able to interact in the space. Is going to provide a familiar workflow that's going to reduce any of the hesitation, any of the learning curves. And those consistent behaviors are really going to create outcomes that don't add any friction, really just allow people to collaborate together in the space. And this is also going to provide AI that is actually going to enhance the meeting. So as we talked about earlier, today's collaboration has a lot of that element, and we want to make sure that it enhances the meeting versus creates any sort of friction or a feeling that the space isn't working or anything like that. We want to make sure that people are able to utilize that room and utilize those features to really create an experience that's worth coming into the office for. So the culture is going to emerge when the technology is going to feel effortless and disappear, become invisible, and really allow people to collaborate together in the space. So one of the things that we find at Crestron is that when the technology does get out of the way, the people are going to connect better. So it's important to make sure that you've engineered the room in a way that allows for people to have that experience that they're looking for. So it feels natural, it feels intuitive, and the space then becomes something that people actually want to be able to use. And it's going to enable not only the people that are physically there in the room to collaborate, but also really brings in the remote participants as well and makes them feel like they're a part of the experience as well. And when that happens, that's when you're going to really find that your space is creating that culture of collaboration. So that's most of what we have here for you guys today in terms of setting up and creating and engineering that culture of collaboration. I think we're going to do Q&A here in a second, but I did really want to mention that at Crestron, if you have any questions or you're looking for any more information about any of the products or any of the building blocks or the foundation that we outlined here, we do have a lot of people who will be able to provide some additional information, some demonstrations, and some things like that to really be able to show you guys what that collaboration experience is like. So I think at this point in time, we're going to move to some Q&A questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kara, for that. It is very insightful discussion. So to everyone watching on the live streams, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be wrapping up the stream shortly. Don't forget to secure your spot at the Microsoft 365 Community Conference happening April 21st to 23rd in Orlando. You scan the QR code on your screen or visit nextgen365events.com and use discount code S150 to save $150 on your registration. You also have 5 days left to enter the contest for a chance to be one of the winners of free Epic Universe Park passes for Sunday, April 19th. Full contest details are available on the news tabs at nextgen365events.com. Now, if you'd like to participate in the live Q&A with Kara, please be sure that you joined using the link in your calendar invite. Bye.